The empty seat in the family photo. There's no seat for me in your family photo anymore. The family photo sits on the mantelpiece in a golden frame, smiling back at me. Father, mother, Madison, and little Ellie. 4 people perfectly arranged, none of them needing my presence. My fingertips trace the picture frame's edge. The cold metal chills through my skin straight to the bone. Last Christmas, I couldn't attend because of the flu. We'll take one together next year, Mother had said. But this year, a new photo sits in the same spot. Still just the 4 of them. Still the perfect family portrait. I hear the scraping of dining chairs being pushed back. Claire, come sit down. It's time for gift exchange. Mother's voice echoes from the back room. I tear my eyes from the photo and walk toward the living room where burgundy wallpaper seems to pulse with each note. White Christmas flows from the stereo. Mother insists on playing Bing Crosby every December 25th, just as she insists the artificial Douglas fir must stand exactly 6 inches from the bay window. When I settle onto the Italian leather sofa, its cold surface refuses to warm beneath me. The room sparkles with crystal ornaments and silver garlands that Mother special orders from a boutique in Vermont. No multicolored lights allowed, no tinsel, no homemade decorations that might disturb the carefully curated elegance. In the Foster household, perfect symmetry is everything. And above all, success was the honor of the entire family. Father's law firm, Mother's charity committee, Madison's marketing career. Everything lined up in perfect order under the banner of Foster family prestige. Father had always said since his youth, family assets are managed by the family. Madison's college tuition, her apartment down payment, her car loan. Everything came with conditions and supervision. Investment comes with responsibility, Father always said. And investment naturally came with a say in decisions too. I was the only one who had refused that investment. That's exactly why they couldn't understand me. Paris Madison's piercing squeal cuts through the room as she waves a thick envelope, clutching a first-class ticket to her chest with perfectly manicured red nails flashing against the crisp paper. Mom, Dad, this is incredible. A career-building opportunity. She reads from the card. $3,500 for the ultimate networking experience. Mother beams, her silver hair catching the morning light. We know how hard you've worked this year, darling. You deserve every penny. My hands tremble slightly as I look down at the small package in my lap, wrapped in the same silver paper as Madison's envelope. The box is light, barely weighing anything at all. I carefully pull back the tape, preserving the paper the way Mother taught us. Just tear it, Claire Bear, Madison says with a laugh that sounds like breaking glass. It's not like you'll reuse it. Inside sits a book with a cartoon woman on the cover, clinging to a sparkly wand. The title screams in hot pink letters, How to Be an Adult, a guide for late bloomers. We thought it might help you finally get serious about life, dear. Mother's voice carries that familiar note of disappointment, wrapped in a thin veneer of concern. 32 is rather old to still be playing with children all day. Madison leans over, her designer perfume clouding the air between us. It's just what you need, Claire Bear. Maybe it'll help you find a real career. She pats my knee with the same condescending touch she uses on her daughter Ellie when the girl asks too many questions. Father checks his watch, already angling toward the television where the pregame show flickers silently. The Bills are playing in 20 minutes, he announces to no one in particular. My throat tightens as memories flood in, sharp and clear as icicles. Last spring, the sound of my phone ringing still echoes in my ears. Claire? Madison's voice was sweet, slightly trembling. I have a favor to ask. It's just temporary, really. $3,000 at most. I'll pay you back next month for sure. When summer came, the same melody repeated. You're my sister, aren't you? This time her voice held certainty. That's what family does. We help each other when we're in trouble. Another few $1,000s. This time, there wasn't even a promise of repayment. Then autumn. On the other end of the phone, Madison's voice was no longer sweet or trembling. Just $2,000 more. I promise this time. This is the last time. But we both knew it was a lie. Something changed from that moment. In Madison's mind, my favors had transformed into rightful entitlements. The next phone calls came without apologies, leaving only the words, "We're family" behind. In her mind, the loans were no longer loans at all. $9,000 total. 2 years of temporary loans that Madison swore she'd repay. The endless weekends watching Ellie while Madison worked at spas and wine tastings. The emergency babysitting calls at midnight when her dates ran long. No payment offered. No real gratitude. I worked 2 jobs to pay for my teaching degree while Madison received checks from our parents. Education is expensive, they said. We have to prioritize. Your little preschool thing is cute. Mother told me last month at dinner. But when are you going to find a real job, something with a future? The cocoa in my favorite reindeer mug has gone cold, but I lift it to my lips anyway. The ceramic trembles against my teeth as I force a polite smile. Thank you for thinking of me. Madison's already moved on, showing father the Paris itinerary he won't remember. Mother adjusts a crystal angel that hasn't moved. The room sparkles with expensive decorations that mean nothing at all. From the corner of my eye, I catch Ellie watching me. My niece sits cross-legged by the tree, her dark eyes serious beneath her bangs. 7 years old and already learning how this family works. Who matters, who doesn't. Who gets Paris, and who gets self-help books with cartoon covers. I set the mug down carefully on a silver coaster, making sure it doesn't leave a ring. Everything in its proper place. Everything perfectly arranged. But as I watch the fire catch the crystal ornaments, throwing rainbows across the burgundy walls, something shifts inside my chest. A quiet click, like a key turning in a lock. This is the last Christmas I'll be treated this way. The thought comes soft but certain, settling into my bones with the weight of truth. I don't make a scene. I don't cry or yell or throw the book across the room. Instead, I sit with my cold cocoa and smile and wait for father to turn on his football game. But I know with a clarity that feels like winter sunlight that everything has changed. They just don't know it yet. 1 week after Christmas dinner, I was at home in my apartment. The smell of leather and shoe polish provides an odd comfort after the cloying perfume of mother's living room. The wooden stairs creak beneath my feet as I climb to my small space above Antonio's shoe repair shop. Each step feels lighter than the last, as if Christmas dinner's weight drops away with the growing distance. Inside, I pull the copper kettle from the stove and pour steaming water over a chamomile tea bag. Steam rises in lazy curls while I reach under my bed, fingers searching until they brush against the spiral binding of my grandmother's old account book. The ledger's pages whisper as I smooth them flat on my kitchen table. Red ink chronicles a story my family refuses to see. March 15th. Emergency loan to Madison. $3,000 April 22nd. Visa application fees. $800. June 7th. Short-term help. $2,500. My hand trembles as I add today's date and a single word. Enough. The numbers blur before my eyes. $9,000. 2 years of temporary loans that Madison swore she'd repay. I flip through my banking app, cross-referencing deposits and withdrawals. A notation catches my eye. A transfer Madison labeled Visa fees matches the date of her Instagram post from Blue Mountain Spa Resort. My phone buzzes. A text from Ellie. Aunt Claire, why did Mommy say you had to watch me last week? Because she was at a work dinner. I saw her pretty dress when she went to meet Thomas. The ceramic mug nearly slips from my fingers. Thomas, Madison's tennis instructor. The emergency that pulled me away from Sarah's retirement party. In an instant, everything connected. Madison's emergencies, Sarah's retirement party that I sacrificed, and now this summer tuition. Everything was built on her lies. In this moment, something inside me broke with an audible crack. Trust, that fragile porcelain. Another buzz. The family group chat springs to life. Madison, urgent family dinner tomorrow night. Need everyone there. Mother, Of course, darling, 6 p.m. sharp. Father, we'll bring the good scotch. Madison, Claire Bear, could use your help with summer tuition. Just $2,800 this time. We can discuss tomorrow. The ledger's pages crackle as my fingers clench. Before I can respond, my phone lights up with Sarah's call. Don't you dare reply yet, she says instead of hello. Meet me at Common Grounds in 20 minutes. I grab my keys and leave the apartment. 20 minutes later, the coffee shop's warmth wraps around me like a blanket as Sarah slides a steaming latte across the table. Her silver hair catches the afternoon light, reminding me of winter mornings in my classroom when the sun hits the craft glitter just right. Your sister's about as subtle as a marching band, Sarah says, stirring her Americano. Robert told me about the Christmas book. That family of yours. She shakes her head. Did I ever tell you about how boundaries saved Robert's life? I lean forward as Sarah shares Robert's story of breaking free from toxic family patterns. My colleague's journey from family scapegoat to respected art teacher rings familiar bells in my chest. The bell above the door chimes, and Mrs. Bedford, my landlord, waves as she collects her regular order. She pauses at our table. Claire, dear, I've been meaning to talk to you. That weekend craft class you did for my granddaughter was wonderful. Would you consider a regular arrangement? Maybe trade some rent reduction for teaching? Before I can answer, a harried-looking woman approaches, juggling a coffee and a bright purple folder. Miss Foster? I'm Jessica, Lily's mom from your preschool class. I heard through the grapevine that Enchanted Events is closing down. They were supposed to handle Lily's birthday next month. I reply that I'll check everything first and then call her back. I thank Sarah and head home. An hour later, after I arrive home, my phone buzzes again. Madison's name flashes on the screen, but I silence it. Instead, I pull up my email and begin typing. Dear Madison, I've attached a complete record of the $9,000 in loans provided over the last 2 years. I care about you deeply, but I can no longer offer financial support without a formal repayment plan. The words flow easier than I expected. I outline clear babysitting boundaries next. Specific hours, standard rates, no last-minute emergencies unless there's a genuine crisis. My hands are steady as I type, strength flowing from somewhere deep and quiet. A gift bag sits beside my chair, carefully wrapped this morning. Inside, a handmade fairy door for Ellie's room and a note promising special Aunt Niece craft days. She won't be caught in this mess. My laptop screen glows as I research local business license requirements. The city's small business development page bookmarks easily enough. A template for a business plan waits in my downloads folder. The first text arrives before I finish my email. Madison's words splash across my screen in all caps. How dare you demand money from family and in that way? Tomorrow's dinner reservation was completely canceled. Mother's voicemail follows, her voice trembling with practice tears. Claire Elizabeth, I cannot believe you would turn your back on your sister like this. After everything we've done for you. Father's email lands in my inbox with his usual corporate efficiency. Your behavior will cause permanent damage to your standing in this family. Consider carefully before continuing down this path. My finger hovers over their contact information. 2 quick taps and their numbers vanish behind a 48-hour block. The screen dims to black, reflecting my face. My chin lifts slightly, shoulders squaring. Outside, snow begins to fall, dusting the winter bare trees with possibilities. My phone stays silent on my table, but my heart beats steady and strong, like footsteps walking away from a door that no longer leads home. Not the home they wanted me to have, but the one I built for myself, full of glitter and finger paintings and the magnificent chaos of being exactly who I am. A whole month passed with these push and pull awkward messages and avoidance. However, on Tuesday morning, the click of Madison's heels against the preschool linoleum sends tiny earthquakes through my stomach. She stands in my classroom doorway with perfect posture and a pressed pantsuit while 3 mothers hover near the cubbies, pretending not to listen. Claire, this demanding money from family and rejecting us, This behavior has to stop. Madison's voice carries across the room like a dinner party announcement. Mom and Dad are worried sick about you. I continue arranging craft supplies for the afternoon session, counting out glue sticks with steady hands. 1, 2, 3. The ritual of preparation anchors me as Madison's words float past. Did you hear me? She steps closer, wafting expensive perfume through my careful world of washable paint and construction paper. Mom called your principal about your instability. My fingers pause on the fourth glue stick. 5, 6, and Daddy talked to Mrs. Bedford about your suspicious activities. Madison lowers her voice to a stage whisper that probably carries to the parking lot. All those supplies being delivered. The late-night noise. Sarah appears in the doorway behind Madison, art smock already spattered with the day's first painting disaster. Her eyes meet mine with quiet concern. I have a business license, I say, my voice surprising me with its calm. Mrs. Bedford helped me file the paperwork last month. Madison blinks, her perfect lipstick twisting. A business? You mean those little fairy parties you're planning? That's not a real. I have excellent references. I open my teaching portfolio, sliding out the principal's latest evaluation. Outstanding marks in creativity, classroom management, parent communication. Would you like to see my credentials? This isn't about your job. Madison's voice rises half an octave. This is about family loyalty, about watching your own niece while I network with. I'd love to have Ellie visit during business hours. I pull out one of my new business cards, designed with watercolor wings and silver edging. My rates are very reasonable for regular clients. Rates? Madison snatches the card, crumpling its corner. You charge your own sister? After everything we've done for. The fairy workshop is beautiful. Mrs. Chen steps forward from the cubbies, ending her pretense of not listening. McKady hasn't stopped talking about her birthday party since she saw the photos. Is next Saturday still available, Claire? I smile, retrieving my appointment book. The morning slot just opened up. Perfect. Mrs. Chen pulls out her checkbook. Katie wants the full princess package with a bubble machine. Madison's face flushes as Mrs. Chen writes the deposit check. 2 more mothers drift over, phones already out to check their calendars. The room fills with cheerful planning while Madison stands frozen, the crumpled business card cutting into her palm. I have a class starting in 10 minutes. I accept Mrs. Chen's check with a quiet thank you. Was there anything else you needed? Madison's heels strike the floor like hammer blows as she storms out. My phone buzzes seconds later with her text. Mom and Dad will hear about this betrayal. I slip the phone into my desk drawer without responding. Sarah helps me arrange the last of the glue sticks while the mothers book their parties. The afternoon sun paints shadows through my classroom windows, turning ordinary corkboards and crayon drawings into the borders of an enchanted realm. That Sunday of that week, the mahogany dining table stretches before me like a battlefield. Mother spent 3 hours polishing it this morning. I can smell the lemon oil from where I sit. My portfolio presses against my ribs like armor. The chandelier throws precise patterns across the lacquered surface, creating shadows that dance whenever someone shifts in their chair. I count the faces around the table. 8 where there should have been 4. Mother, father, Madison, and my surprised guests, including the Hendersons who run royal events planning. Their matching coral blazers flash like warning signs. The Hendersons sit to father's right, backs straight like witnesses to an already decided deal. Barbara sends me appraising looks, raising thin eyebrows as she evaluates my casual blouse. Tom frequently exchanges glances with father, occasionally nodding slightly. Mother and Madison smile with satisfaction, behaving as if they'd invited me to a surprise party. But their eyes held the light of victory. I was the only one who hadn't been told the real purpose of this party. More wine, Claire? Mother lifts the crystal decanter. Her silver bracelet catches the light, sending Morse code signals across the wall. Danger, danger, danger. No, thank you. My stomach churns, but I keep my voice steady. The first course sits untouched before me. Butternut squash soup garnished with fresh sage from Mother's garden. The spoon remains perfectly aligned with the bowl's rim. Madison leans forward, pearls swinging. I have the most wonderful news, Claire Bear. Her smile stretches wide, showing too many teeth. Remember that charity event I mentioned for the children's hospital? Well, I told them all about your adorable little parties. They're absolutely thrilled to have you handle everything. The soup ripples as Mother sets down her wine glass too firmly. That's why we invited Tom and Barbara. She nods toward the Hendersons. They've agreed to mentor you. Help turn your cute hobby into something legitimate. Father slides a leather folder across the polished wood. We've drawn up the paperwork. 40% ownership split between your mother and me. 30% to Madison for managing the business side, and 30% for you to continue the creative work you enjoy. The children love you, Barbara Henderson adds, her voice dripping honey over steel. But you need professionals to handle the real business decisions. My hands should shake. They don't. 3 years ago, they would have trembled like autumn leaves. But that was before I learned to track every dollar, document every manipulation, build evidence like a wall between me and their expectations. I set my portfolio on the table. The dark blue leather looks stark against the cream tablecloth. Thank you for your concern about my business. The words come out calm, measured. I brought something to share as well. Mother's eyes narrow at my tone. Madison's smile flickers. I open the portfolio, removing a stack of pristine papers. First, the complete record of funds borrowed by Madison over 2 years. $9,000 with dates, amounts, and her promises of repayment. I place it before Father. The documented hours of emergency childcare, calculated at standard rates. This goes to Mother. And finally, my current business financials, client testimonials, and projected growth for the next 2 quarters. The room falls silent except for the tick of Mother's antique clock. I'm already properly licensed and insured. I meet Barbara Henderson's gaze. My liability coverage exceeds industry standards. I have contracts with 3 venues and a waiting list through December. Madison's face flushes. But the charity event. I never agreed to take on the children's hospital event. I turned to her. You used my name to make promises without my consent. You assumed I'd always be available to watch Ellie. Always have money to lend. Always put your needs first. It's time to be honest. Now see here, Father's voice rises as he shoves back from the table. We're trying to help you build something respectable. No, the word rings clear as crystal. You're trying to control something that's already successful without your help. Something that makes you uncomfortable because it proves you are wrong about me. Mother presses her lips into a bloodless line. Claire Elizabeth Foster, you are being extremely ungrateful. I'm being honest. I pull out one final document. These are my terms for future family relationships. No financial entanglements ever. Scheduled time with Ellie that won't be canceled for your convenience. Public acknowledgement of my legitimate career and respect for my choices going forward. Madison's eyes fill with tears. Real ones, for once. You don't understand. I see how Ellie looks at you. How she talks about your magical parties. My own daughter likes you better than me. No, I soften my voice. Ellie loves you completely. She just wishes you saw her the way I do, someone worth showing up for. Mother stares at her untouched soup. The silence stretches like pulled taffy. Sweet and dangerous. Father slams his hand on the table, wine glasses rattle. This isn't about business at all, is it? This is about you trying to embarrass this family. Make us look foolish in front of our friends. I stand, smoothing my skirt. The house key burns in my pocket. The one Mother gave me when I turned 16, telling me it meant I was finally grown up. I place it gently beside my soup spoon. You're right. It's not about business. I gather my portfolio. It's about choosing to believe in myself as much as my 4-year-old students believe in fairy magic. It's about finally understanding that love shouldn't require me to be smaller than I am. The chandelier light catches Mother's tears, turning them to diamonds. Madison's shoulders shake. Father's face darkens like a thundercloud. But for the first time in 32 years, their reactions don't reach inside me and rearrange my organs. I walk to the door, my heels clicking against the hardwood. The sound echoes like applause, like permission, like freedom. Behind me, someone whispers my name. I don't turn around. Sometimes loving yourself means walking away even when other people are crying. Sometimes growing up means leaving your key on the table and your family behind, knowing that if they ever truly want to find you, they'll have to meet you as an equal first. The door closes behind me with a quiet click. In the driveway, crickets sing their evening chorus. A warm breeze carries the scent of mother's roses, the ones I helped her plant when I was 12, believing that creating beautiful things together meant she saw the beauty in me. I start my car, back out of the driveway, and point myself toward home. Not the home they wanted me to have, but the one I built for myself, full of glitter and finger paintings and the magnificent chaos of being exactly who I am. 6 months later, morning sunlight streams through the tall windows of my new studio, catching specks of glitter that float like fairy dust in the air. A rainbow of organza wings lines the far wall. Each pair is handcrafted for upcoming parties. Sarah arranges supplies while Jenny, my newest assistant, sorts through a stack of booking requests. We're completely full through September, Jenny announces, her pencil tapping against the scheduling book. Should I start a waiting list? My fingers trace the edge of a silver-tipped wing as warmth spreads through my chest. 6 months ago, I sat in my parents' pristine living room clutching a cartoon self-help book. Now, my business employs 3 people, and the only glitter on my hands is the kind I choose to wear. The wall behind my desk blooms with thank you notes. Dear Miss Claire, thank you for making me feel like a real fairy princess. You helped Sophia believe in magic again. Each card represents a child whose imagination found safe harbor here. My phone buzzes. A text from Madison. Ellie hopes you'll still come to her school art fair tomorrow. No pressure. The absence of manipulation in her words still surprises me. Our relationship changed slowly, like ice melting in spring. First came the anger, then the awkward silence. But after I held firm to my boundaries, something shifted. Now when Madison asks for help, she accepts no as a complete sentence. The community college called yesterday about teaching another course on childhood creativity. Last semester, students still email me about their classroom successes. One photo shows a reading nook transformed into a hobbit hole, complete with a round green door. Another displays a science center reimagined as an explorer's outpost. Claire, Sarah's voice pulls me back. The conference organizers want to know if you'll keynote again next spring. Last year's speech terrified me. Standing before hundreds of educators, my voice shook as I began. But when I described how imagination creates sanctuary for struggling children, the words flowed like water. The standing ovation afterwards still feels surreal. Tell them yes, I answer, surprising myself with the lack of hesitation. A knock at the studio door reveals Linda, my mother, holding a newspaper. I saw your interview, she says, hovering in the doorway. Her silver hair catches the light, reminding me of Christmas tinsel. About the scholarship fund for early childhood education students. The familiar tension creeps into my shoulders, but I breathe through it. Linda still struggles to understand my choices, but she's learning. Last week, she forwarded an article about successful women entrepreneurs without a single critical comment. Would you like some tea? I offer. Jenny just made a fresh pot. Linda perches carefully on a paint-splattered stool, somehow maintaining perfect posture. Her eyes drift to the wall of wings, lingering on a pair spelled with fresh copper paint. You are. Linda pauses as if searching for words. Building something truly meaningful. Her voice holds surprise and a faint trace of pride. I still can't completely understand it, but the scholarship announcement spreads across her lap. My small foundation will help future teachers afford their degrees without working 2 jobs like I did. The photos show my workshop during last weekend's mentoring session, where Amy, a young woman leaving her controlling family, learned to write business plans between crafting sessions. After she leaves, I unlock my office cabinet and pull out that old self-help book. Its pages burst with pressed flowers and notes from children. Birthday card scraps mark passages not about growing up, but about growing strong. Tonight, I'm adding something special. A photo of Ellie at last month's Christmas gathering, beaming as she hands me a handmade card covered in wobbly stars. My niece's art now decorates my office wall, right next to her mother's first genuine thank you note. The inscription I wrote years ago still graces the inside cover. Growing up isn't about changing who you are. It's about finally standing up for who you've always been. Standing at my window, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of possibility. I understand what that younger, uncertain Claire couldn't. Sometimes the most powerful magic isn't in fairy wings or glitter. Sometimes it's in the quiet strength of choosing your own path, even when that path sparkles. I place the book on its shelf next to my business licenses and teaching certificates. The studio lights dim automatically, but I don't need them anymore. I've learned to trust myself in the dark. As I lock up, my phone chimes with another text from Madison. Thank you for showing her it's okay to be herself. I smile, slipping the phone into my pocket without feeling obligated to respond immediately. The evening air wraps around me like a familiar shawl as I walk to my car. Tomorrow brings another art fair, another chance to support my niece, another opportunity to show children they can soar on wings of their own making. And I'm ready for every moment of it.